More good news about mushrooms. Millions of depressed Americans could benefit from psychedelic therapy, study finds. Wake of mounting evidence for the efficacy of psychedelic-assisted therapies, the FDA is considering approving psilocybin, the active ingredient in magic mushrooms for treating depression. As this watershed moment approaches, a critical question arises. Just how many people might stand to benefit from promising but still unproven therapy? Shedding light on this high-stakes inquiry, a first-of-its-kind study led by researchers at Emory University, the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and UC Berkeley. He's published in Psychedelics and has generated initial estimates of the potential for psilocybin-assisted therapy for depression in the United States. The paper is titled An Estimate of the Number of People with Clinical Depression Eligible for Psilocybin-Assisted Therapy in the United States. Analyzing national survey data on depression prevalence and treatment in conjunction with eligibility criteria from recent landmark clinical trials, researchers determined that between 56% of patients currently receiving treatment for depression qualify for psilocybin therapy if approved. Our findings suggest that if the FDA gives the green light, this therapy has the potential to help millions of Americans who suffer from depression. This underscores the importance of understanding the practical realities of rolling out this novel treatment on a large scale. To arrive at their projections, the researchers first determined that of the nearly 15 million American adults with depression, about 9 million receive treatment in a year. Then evaluated this position against the various eligibility criteria, and what they found was lower bound of 24% of patients were eligible if the strict criteria of initial trials were applied. Mid-range of 56 based on criteria likely to be used in a real-world medical setting. And then it goes to 62% if you account for patients with multiple exclusionary conditions. Notably, nearly a third of the lower bound to mid-range jump resulted from the patients with alcohol substance use disorders, whom growing evidence suggests psilocybin may actually be beneficial rather than contraindicated. However, even the 62% upper bound estimate is likely conservative, as the analysis focused only on currently treated individuals and did not account for the potential influx of new patients drawn by the appeal of these psychedelic medicines. The researchers cautioned that these projections are highly contingent on the precise FDA approval parameters and subsequent real-world implementation factors. Insurance coverage decisions, we all love that. Availability of trained practitioners and regional variations in access could all considerably constrain the ultimate uptake of this therapy. Additionally, if approval encompasses off-label use for conditions beyond depression, demand could further surge. While our analysis is a crucial first step, we've only scratched the surface in understanding the true public health impact psilocybin therapy could have. Dr. Charles Raisin, collaborator on the study and the lead investigator on one of the largest clinical trials looking at the efficacy of this therapy for depression setting. Ultimately, realizable potential of this treatment rests in the hands of regulatory bodies, policymakers, insurers, and the healthcare community at large. It's our hope that these findings spur productive discussions and proactive preparations to optimize the benefits to patients while minimizing consequences. As the psychedelic renaissance continues to gather momentum, the study provides a vital glimpse into the promises and challenges that may lie ahead. Millions of lives potentially in the balance, it underscores the urgency of further research to refine demand estimates for equitable, effective delivery of therapy should it gain. I think this is just great news. And, the number one thing I would say is, as to all of this, psychedelics continue to prove themselves safe, non-toxic, and amazingly effective. Also, if we worked on the actual fascist capital corporate dystopia that we lived in, we might not all need drugs just to get along on the day. This is St. Germain on a beautiful Monday for the High at 9 News. Jump in, everybody.
I love it.
You just love it? That's it?
I do love it. I mean, listen, I've been very vocal about the fact that I use psilocybin as well as LSD to help with my PTSD, anxiety, and everything when I was coming through that after years of domestic violence. So it was, as somebody who's had that help their lives, I love to see this. I love to hear positive news about it. And I think that that's awesome. So, yeah, I do just love it. Is that okay?
Yeah. Teach their own. Teach their own. Matthew, what are they basing this off of?
The radical success that they're having at every level with every psilocybin and mushroom trial, both in the United States and worldwide.
So this was
mostly a meta-analysis where they're looking at other studies, looking at the eligibility criteria as well as the outcome of.
Interesting. So it's nice. They're This group isn't actually doing any studies or talking about doing.
It's a
any studies.
meta-analysis. They're doing a study of studies. It's something that happens in the scientific and medical field quite a bit.
Got it.
You get like generalized trends out.
Yeah, they're taking all the studies and doing like a comprehensive analysis of what all the data means when it all comes together.
It's like group art.
Yeah, it's cute. That's cute. I just can't. I don't know. I feel like with the previous stories from the last group that was really on the verge of getting some psychedelic research done, and they just totally botched that whole thing. I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Oh, the Lycos trials aren't over, and yeah, they definitely dropped the ball and were a little culty and weird.
Mm-hmm.
But, the FDA is deciding if they're going to ask for more information and or another round 3 study. So that's not over, and hopefully, it's a little bobble that serves as a warning sign to folks in this space to really dot their I's, cross their T's, be extra careful and cautious when they are doing these studies because of the higher level of stigmatization.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'd like to just remind everybody, like, mushrooms grow from the ground, are natural, they are good for most people, provided you're not a schizophrenic and or completely suicidal. Even in those cases, oftentimes they tend to help people. And I think it's important that although the medical model is good for some, we continue to keep our eyes open and oriented to the fact that we also need a non-medical model wherein people don't have to pay the $15,000 per trip, don't have to be supervised by psychologists, don't have to get it okayed by their insurance company just to get connected to Life, the Universe.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they have that right now. It's called the trap market.
And here's where I would disagree with Matthew. He said that mushrooms are natural. They are not natural. They are supernatural.
Oh boy.
And what I also appreciate is, like, to his point, like, we don't need to wait for the definitive study, the rollout of a quasi-functional medical system in a certain state, and we also don't need to depend upon very expensive programs which create barriers to entry for those that can't drop large monies. And that's why microdosing has become so popular in the last half decade, is because it gives people an opportunity to explore their own interactions with this plant.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a plant, sorry, my bad, a fungi. And
oh boy,
to do it in a way that is de-risked, because they are starting small and building up, and it doesn't have to be a heroic dose in some unknown environment at a 3-day festival in 106-degree heat. And people are really, really wanting to see the science advance.
Mm-hmm.
My challenge is just, there's so many indicators. There's so many.
You're into
research. How quickly can we get to some?
You're entering in a bad zone, Yarrow. You're getting all R2D2 on us. On that, we're gonna.
Can you hear me better now? Can you hear me better now?
I mean, and you got an echo. You got all kinds of audio issues going on today.
Yeah.
How far are you from your house?
Driveway.
All right. Well, perfect. Well, we're gonna go to a commercial. We're gonna be right back.